The world they're building. There's a strange feeling in the air these days, a sense that the world is changing, but not because ordinary people asked for it. No, the real momentum seems to come from somewhere else, from boardrooms, summits, foundations, and forums, where the powerful gather behind polished doors and speak in the kind of language that sounds noble, but somehow never feels honest. They call it global cooperation, shared vision, collective progress. But to many, it feels more like a quiet consolidation, a future being drafted by people no one ever voted for. And at the center of it all sits a grand blueprint, Agenda 2030, a document wrapped in the language of hope, sustainability, equality, transformation, yet ambitious enough to reshape economies, societies, and daily life on a planetary scale. It promises a better world, but it also demands a different world, a world redesigned from the top down. And the architects? They're not the public. They're not the voters. They're not the people struggling to pay bills or raise families or make sense of the chaos around them. They're the planners, the strategists, the networks of influence that operate above the noise. The institutions that never sleep. The United Nations calls Agenda 2030 a universal transformative plan for humanity's future. It speaks of global governance, shared responsibility, and systemic change. The World Economic Forum echoes the same language: partnerships, alignment, public-private cooperation. It's all very polished, very coordinated, very inevitable. And then there are the think tanks, the long-range visionaries who've been modeling the future for decades. Groups like the Club of Rome, whose early warnings about planetary limits still ripple through global policy today. They publish, they advise, they convene, and slowly their ideas seep into the bloodstream of governments and corporations alike. But none of these groups ever needed a single vote to shape the direction of the world. The circles behind the curtain. Beyond the official institutions lie the quieter circles, the private gatherings, the dynastic families, the financial networks that have influenced global systems for generations. People talk about them in hushed tones: the old money, the discreet alliances, the meetings where the world's most powerful discuss the future without ever asking the public what kind of future they want. Whether these groups are benevolent, self-interested, or simply convinced they know best, the result is the same: influence without accountability, power without election, direction without consent. The cynical question. Agenda 2030 paints a beautiful picture: a world without poverty, without inequality, without environmental collapse. But beauty can be a distraction, a veneer, a way of selling a transformation that most people never asked for. Because behind every global plan is a simple, cynical question: who gets to decide what progress looks like? Who defines sustainability? Who determines the sacrifices? Who benefits from the restructuring of society? And who gets left behind? When the future is shaped by committees, councils, and coalitions that operate far above everyday life, it's hard not to wonder whether the world is being built for the many or for the few. The world taking shape. As 2030 approaches, the direction becomes clearer. Policies shift, economies adjust, societies reorganize themselves around goals set by distant institutions and global frameworks. Some call it progress, some call it necessary, some call it the slow, quiet merging of public life with private influence. But whatever the interpretation, one truth remains: the world is being redesigned, and the designers are not the people living in it. The institutions publish the vision, the networks amplify it, the partnerships enforce it, and the rest of us are expected to adapt. Because in the end, the most powerful forces are not the ones we see, but the ones shaping the world from just out of sight.